This podcast will hopefully contain words or statements of obscene, pornographic, or immoral character. You have been warned. You have been warned. You have been
warned. 1, 2, 3. Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back to the Potty Mouth Records podcast. Welcome back. Yeah, welcome back. Welcome back to the Potty Mouth Records podcast. Rootin' tootin' spewers of poop. Yeah.
Are you ready? Fuck it. I hate this part.
Don't do it.
Fuck it. I'm not doing it.
Yeah, don't do it. I don't care. I told you to fucking stop doing it.
Yeah, but what about the peeps? The peeps that love Bob and Doug McKenzie. What about them?
Well, I think that it's just one of those things where you break it out maybe every couple episodes to surprise people.
Oh,
like, he doesn't do the thing anymore. And then all of a sudden you do the thing and they're like, oh, cool, he did the thing.
Yeah, okay. We'll work on that.
Yeah.
Fucking.
Maybe I'll try to do it at some point.
Oh.
No,
so,
I'm not.
So apparently I was really scatterbrained last week.
Scatterblaned?
Scatterbrained. Apparently my ADD meds are fucking worse, making things worse instead of better. So I'm all over the charts.
Normally we have very little editing on any. Sometimes we don't edit the episodes at all. Like they go pretty smoothly. And the one last week needed some fucking help. Curtis's ADD got the better of last week, and I had to edit him into a functioning adult.
Oh, I'm so proud of myself.
That last week's episode will eventually be a bonus feature. It'll be a pay feature. If you want to hear that episode in entirety and suffer as I suffered, you have to pay.
It is so bad. Oh,
but it was cool. I got to play around and work on my editing skills. So hopefully no one noticed it was edited too bad.
It'll be all right.
Yeah. Well, I have a bunch of stuff to start off with today.
Oh, you do? Well, I'm glad you're fucking prepared.
Yeah. Well, the first thing, we went to that Psychedelic Furs show last night.
Oh.
And so they played at this place down at the harbor in downtown San Diego. It's called the Rady Shell. And it's like this outdoor amphitheater kind of place. They have like symphonies there and stuff like that. And where it's built in like a public park kind of area. There's like a path that people ride bikes and like roller skate and run and stuff like all around. It's like loops around downtown. And this amphitheater thing like sits like right on the water. And like we hadn't even gotten tickets yet because like it wasn't anywhere. This place is pretty big and we're like, there's no way that show's going to sell out. And worst case scenario, we'll just get lawn tickets or whatever. Because they were pretty cheap. They were like $30. But someone had told us that you can actually just sit outside of this place and watch the bands and listen. And it's like basically it's just like being inside, but you like don't even have to pay. And I'm like, there's no fucking way that they're letting people just like sit outside and listen to the concerts.
Your baseball stadium's like that, isn't it? Like the one end's open where you can sit and kind of watch in.
Yeah, there's like a lawn. There's like an angled lawn where you can like look in. I think you can see. I don't think like I haven't been down there in a while, but to see that part of the stadium. But I think you're right. There's a pretty good view of the field. So yeah, anyway, we went down and we were just assuming we were going to have to pay to get in and all that. So we showed up, and where they get you is they like talk about, because there's no parking down there at all. It's like basically to not pay to park, you'd have to park like 2 miles away basically and like walk in there. So there's like no place to park. So you have to pay for parking. And we get down there, it was $35 to park to be like 100 yards from the place essentially. And it was,
Nice.
yeah, and it was kind of like fucked up to try to turn around. And so we're like, whatever, we'll just fucking do it. So we're like, oh, well, cool. We got like butt fucked on parking, like right out of the gates. So then we get out and we start walking down. And then we quickly realized that what our friend had told us was 100% accurate, that you can just like post up outside this place. So we get down and there's like people fucking everywhere who had brought like lawn chairs and stuff and are just like sitting out on this like sidewalk area, looking in and watching the bands play. And then where we were sitting, there was actually like a big screen that's inside the stadium that was like facing where we were sitting. So we actually just found a bench and we brought a blanket because we were going to sit on the lawn inside the place. So we just sat on a bench and were able to see the band. We were probably like maybe like 150 yards from the band, like stage level, and we could see the screen and like the sound was perfect.
That's crazy.
It was like it wouldn't have been any different if we paid to get in.
So what's the advantage of paying to get in?
I
You're 100 yards away?
I don't know. I don't know what the advantage. I guess it's like because you can get to the food and drink like concessions and all that stuff. They're like blocked off from the outside. So I guess if you want to go in and drink and eat and have a seat and like see the stage, you know, straight on, but you know, I was like the lawn was where it's funny too, because where the lawn was positioned in this place is actually further away from the band than where we were sitting outside for free on the bench. So it was cool. I don't know. It's like that's the first time I've ever been to a concert like that ever in my life where you can just basically have the exact same experience without paying to get in.
Yeah, dude. I don't think we have anything like that here.
Yeah. I know we were just like, this is fucking crazy. I was like, how long is this going to fucking last? Because another thing too, because this place is pretty new. It's been built in the last, I think it was always some type of a concert venue, but they remodeled it in the last couple of years. But people were actually like pulling up in boats to watch the concert because like the water wraps around the whole place. So people were like coming in on private boats and just like anchoring up and watching the concert from the water for free.
Holy shit. Yeah, that's cool as hell. Yeah, we don't have anything like that. We would need water and boats, but besides that, well, I mean, they do down in the city, but we don't have it here.
Yeah, but I mean, there's nothing like that at Fells Point or anything, is there?
Not that I can think of.
Yeah, it's been a long time since I've been down there, but
I was going to say probably the last time, but that would not be true. It was probably with you. I don't go down there. I don't like that fucking place.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like very touristy, I guess.
Yeah, and it's like, yeah. And I'm old enough that I don't feel like a drunk college kid, so I don't want to go bar hopping. Yeah, it's just a hot mess.
Yeah, I guess that makes sense. I guess any of the times I ever remember being down there was always in the daytime, so I guess I never really experienced that place at night.
Right. We did it on occasion, but it was rare. I like dives. I don't like a ton of fucking people around. I want to get my drink on. We've already had this talk.
Yeah, totally.
I want to get my drink on, and I don't want to have to fucking pay a lot because I'm cheap. Once again, we've had that conversation too.
Yes, we have, but we have not had this conversation, and this is not a paid sponsorship. However, I wish this could become a paid sponsorship. So I was over at a buddy's house over the weekend, and we were just hanging out, watching some TV and stuff. And he's like, "You want something to drink?" I'm like, "Yeah, what you got?" And he's like, "Have you had hops water yet?" And I was like, "I don't even know what that is." So, you know, like kind of like seltzers are real popular right now, like sparkling waters and stuff like that. Well, so now
it sounds like horse ass right now.
So they're making, I guess, like these beer companies are making this stuff called hops water, and it's basically exactly what it sounds like it is. It's basically like sparkling water tasting beer. It tastes like kind of like beer a little bit, but it's sparkling water. It's non-alcoholic, gluten-free, craft brewed. This brand that I have is called Hoplark. But it's basically like if you don't drink but you still want like the flavor of a beer and don't want alcohol, these things are actually pretty freaking delicious.
I'm gonna pass because I don't know if I would want that. Because once again, if I'm not getting the benefit, I don't know if I really fucking want it.
Yeah, I mean, I get that, but
you'll at least look cool in public, and people will think you're drinking and you're not.
I don't
That
even
would
think
be
it's
badass.
I don't even think it's that though, because the cans don't even really necessarily look like they're trying to look like they're alcohol. They just look like a what's that sparkling water? The
LaCroix.
LaCroix, yeah, it's kind of just like a fancier LaCroix kind of a bottle, I guess. But anyway, I find them delicious. If you're bored with normal sparkling water and you want to try something different, I recommend hops water. Give it a shot.
So, how in the fuck do you drink sparkling water in general? I cannot do it. It is fucking painful. We have one of those little fizzy machines at the office.
Oh, do you?
And it's like that kicks ass because I can add flavor to it. But to drink sparkling water on its own, bleh,
well,
I'd rather chew on my fucking own toe.
Jesus, it's not that bad.
It's pretty fucking bad.
Oh, that's weird. Yeah. I mean, I like the plain sparkling water too, but we usually get the flavored kind. We get like, there's a ginger one we get. There's a black cherry that they just started making that actually tastes sort of like low budget Dr. Pepper. So that's
which is actually magical.
Yeah, so that's pretty good. But yeah, I don't know. Like, and I drink a lot of water too, so it's not even like I hate water. I drink plenty of just plain water too, but I don't know. I got out of drinking soda years ago, so I just kind of missed the carbonation and got into sparkling water, and it just kind of fills that void, I guess.
What the fuck is wrong with you? Swear to God.
So because you don't like something, that means something's wrong with me. Okay, cool.
Fuck yes. Absolutely.
What a dick.
I do not fucking get that at all.
So
once again, chew on my toe.
What don't you like about it?
Well, I think because I'm a sugaraholic as well. That shit's not sweet enough. Like it needs to be cranked up to 11.
Yeah. So basically,
like even some of the squeezy stuff for the sparkling water, it's not enough.
Yeah. You like carbonation. You just don't like that they're so plain tasting and not sugary. Yeah. Gotcha.
Yes.
I can buy that more than the carbonation part, I suppose.
Yeah. I don't like drinking water. It's dreadful.
Oh, I thought you said you do like drinking water.
Oh, no.
You don't?
Fuck no.
Oh, weird.
Yeah, I used to drink a shit ton of it. I can't do it anymore. Like it's like Diet Coke's crack, and it's like fucking next to impossible to wean off of. But we've done it.
Yeah.
But I mean, I still like that's my go-to if we go out or something. But like we bought like if we go to practice, I'll buy soda. If we go out to dinner, I'll have a soda. But I haven't bought like sodas for work or for the house in a long time. Like that's since
good.
Like the first of the year. Like it's kind of crazy.
That's good, dude, because I mean, I know, man, it's hard to break that soda curse because I mean, I haven't, even when I was drinking soda, I was mostly drinking Diet Cokes. I don't know what it is, man. Diet Cokes are so fucking good. Like I'm kind of like you at this point. Like I'll have one as like a treat. Like maybe like once a month I'll have a Diet Coke. Like we'll go to dinner and I'll get one, or maybe like out riding around doing errands or something where I know I'm going to be out all day. I'll like grab one at the start of my day and sip it throughout the day. But yeah, you cannot have those at the house because I'll blow through like 12 of those in like 3 or 4 days.
I think I was going through like a 2.5 liters every day at work. Just like bloop, bloop, bloop. It just like it went down smooth.
Yeah.
And if you don't drink it, it tastes like ass. For people who don't drink it, it tastes like total hell.
That's true. If you don't drink it for a while and then you have one, you're like, why did I like this shit so much? It tastes fucking nasty. Trisha's sister drinks 2 2-liter bottles of real sugar Coke every day. And she's like, weighs like 140 pounds, 30
How the
pounds.
fuck does she do that? Does she run around in circles?
She's kind of a hypo, yeah.
Oh my Lord.
Yeah, she's like really like high strung kind of, I guess. Just like blast through cigarettes and coke like all day.
So there was a point where I was like, no, diet stuff is evil, and I'm just going to go straight sugar because it's better for you.
No, I don't
Whatever.
think so. Yeah.
So it was a total fail. Total fucking fail. My doctor was very unhappy at that point with me. She's like, you might want to go back to the diet.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of like weighing those pros and cons, right? It's like, yeah, I mean, in the grand scheme of things, like fake sugar is bad, but it's going to probably save you from being diabetic a lot sooner.
Oh, Amanda's trying to steal my pen.
So I think, I mean, and I'm not a scientist or a doctor here, but I think that.
Did you sleep in a Holiday Inn?
I think your liver probably has worse trouble dealing with real sugar than it does fake sugar to filter it out.
I have no idea. I'm not even going to sleep at a Holiday Inn to figure it out because it is just, I don't know. It's like crack. And I think being a mad drunk, it just made it worse.
Yeah.
Like your body craves it no matter what now.
Well, yeah. It's just like once you kind of like have that sugar addiction, it's hard to break it.
Yeah. It's really, it's fun.
Well, while we're on this topic, I want to take this opportunity to do a public service announcement. And I want everybody to take the time to take care of yourself and get yourself checked out.
What?
Yeah. Because
you just did like a public service announcement.
I just said I was going to do a public service announcement.
What the fuck is that?
Yeah, like
it's not that I wasn't paying attention. I was expecting something asinine, and that was, I guess, nice. And what the fuck?
Yeah, go to the doctor, get yourself checked out. Like, if you haven't been to the doctor in a while, go do it. Get some blood work done. Get yourself checked out. If you have family history of diseases or illnesses, get yourself checked out. It's a smart thing to do.
What in the fuck are you doing? Oh my God.
There's lots of things that can be prevented with early detection, and it's important to take care of yourself for yourself and for the people that care about you.
And knowing's half the battle.
It is. Knowing's half the battle. Well, the reason I say that is I had my annual colonoscopy on Monday.
Fuck that.
And
did they ball gag you?
No, they didn't ball gag me this time.
Oh, no, that makes it even worse.
But I got the all clear. I was clean as a whistle, which is
nice.
Good news. And
they put on a little Barry White.
Little Barry White. No, yeah. That might make it like way more exciting though. But yeah, I don't. Shit. It's just I know there's like I've talked to a lot of people who are like not getting it done because they're nervous about it and they've been putting it off, which I think you have too, right?
I've had it done.
You have had it done?
I have had it done. It is. All I remember is I'm strapping that fucking thing on my face and it was over.
Yeah. Well,
yeah. I
guess the point is that I've heard a lot of people say that they're, hesitant to get it done because they're scared and like don't know what it's like and whatever. But like I've had like, I think Monday was the 7th one I've had now. And, like the prep for it isn't easy, but in the long run,
hey, there's nothing worse than giving yourself an enema. Just want to let you know.
Yeah.
Fucking blows. But everything blows. Literally.
Exactly. But yeah, it's important to do it once you get to a certain age because early detection's good. And especially if you have family history. So get your buttholes checked out, people, or just go to the doctor in general. If you're putting it off, like it's always better to find out stuff sooner than later. So
true that.
Anyway,
Holy shit.
I care about our listeners.
I was looking for my sound effects board, and I wish I could figure out how to make the bitch work, because I was looking for something. I was looking for the crickets. I was looking for buttons, and there's none of that because none of it works. Whoa, my God.
Yeah, see, you missed your opportunity.
Fuck.
Well, moving on from that, I wanted one thing I thought could maybe just be a full-blown topic today, depending on how far we go with it. But I want to talk about the sickness, since we're on the topic of illnesses and sicknesses. Let's talk about the sickness of fucking guitar shopping. Because,
oh my God.
because
go ahead.
Yeah, because I've come to the conclusion that guitar shopping for people, if you're a musician or in a band or just whatever, if you're just someone who likes instruments and you like music and you like dicking around with a guitar or a bass or drums, that musical instruments are like the musician equivalent of golf clubs, and that you can't, it's like no matter how good your current group of instruments are, it's like it's never fucking enough.
See, Amanda's leaving for this part of the conversation. Is good.
Yeah.
Because this one, yes, this is like a total weakness of mine, and I like it is like one of the biggest, like I guess, struggles, or like it's something I have to hold back on, because like back when the kids were younger and shit, like I never bought a fucking thing for myself.
Yeah.
And then there's finally, you get divorced, and all of a sudden money shows up somehow, and it's like musical instruments are like fucking crack, and it's like, oh my God.
Yeah.
Like I bought new guitar and I hadn't been playing in fucking 15 years. I was like, fuck yes, new guitar. And it was just great. It's crazy. So go ahead, go about your rabbit hole, because I'll go down mine that I'm on right now that I'm trying to get over.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I guess I was thinking about this yesterday. And so it's like perfect that we decided to do the podcast today, because I was like, this is a fresh thing I could bring up, because I was sitting around and I actually like had the thought a few days ago, because we were like writing that new song, and I don't know, it just like I had this thought come to me where I was like, man, I was really missing my Ibanez lately. And my good friend Larry, he's a big Ibanez guy, and he has a bunch of like RG series and like some like middle to like bottom top of the line kind of Ibanez models. And he's like, he actually had an issue with his hand for the last like few months or a year, and he hasn't been able to play. And he just started kind of like getting his hand kind of back to normal. I think he started playing again recently. So he's been posting some guitar pictures and stuff. And I was like, oh man, I've like forgot all his sick Ibanez's that he has. And it got me thinking about mine that I had in Bomb Threat. Like it was like the sort of like a blue with a white pick guard. That was kind of like the main guitar I was playing in Bomb Threat for years. And I like always, out of all the guitars I ever had, I always regretted getting rid of that one. And so anyway, I was just thinking about, we were like writing stuff, and the last few times that we jammed, I've mainly been playing my Strat, which I love.
Whoa.
But I'm like, it's just not, it doesn't feel right for us. And like sound wise and just how it feels to play. And then I bought my new guitar, which I got back at Christmas time, which was the first like really good, like high end hollow body I've ever had. And I fucking love that guitar. It's without a doubt my favorite guitar I've ever had. I love it. So you would think that getting a guitar that is like the guitar that you like more than any guitar you've ever had, like that would just
no
kill the urge to shop and look around. But as soon as I had this fucking thought in my head that neither guitar that I have right now is good enough for how I want my guitar to feel playing with us, I've been the last 2 days on Reverb and eBay looking at RG series Ibanez's to see if I can find one at like a decent price and a cool colorway. And the whole time I'm doing it, in my mind, I'm like, don't fucking do this. Like, you don't, like, A, I don't even have the money to buy a guitar right now. And it's like, B, like, why are you even looking? Because you can't buy one. And it's fucking stupid. Just like make one of the other guitars like work. You're like overthinking it. So
no, you're not. No, you're not.
But then I went down a rabbit hole of really over analyzing and being like, what about my psyche has made me be a person who's, I feel like there's like two camps of guitar players, right? There's the camp of the person who starts when they're 12 because maybe they got a hand me down from somebody. And that was like their starter guitar. And once they realized they loved guitar and wanted to stick with it, maybe they had a high school job or like their parents helped pitch in, but they were a person who bought a $1,500 Les Paul in like 1988. And that's the guitar they still have, right? There's those people. And then there's the people like me who have had probably like 40 different guitars because I never felt like I ever found one that really was exactly what I wanted. And I just like variety. I like trying different things. And like, you know, like I play guitar for a while and like, oh, that was cool. But I loved that guitar, but I wanted to still try something different. So I was like, man, wonder like, what is it about when I started playing that got me into wanting to be the person who always wants to try different models versus sticking with one the whole time?
So to me, part of this is playing somebody else's guitar and going, oh, that feels really good.
Yeah. Okay.
Like, so fair. all of a sudden that opens up where you said about Ibanez, I don't like the necks. So that is like a total no-go for me.
Yeah.
Like, I don't like the way they feel. Like I don't like the Jackson necks on the guitars. Like Gabe's was always like way too thin. And maybe it's because I had fat ass fingers and fat hands that I
was the same way with Jackson. I always thought Jacksons were like the coolest guitars, but I never loved the necks that much.
Yeah. So, I mean, I definitely, and what's amazing is I love that fucking Hondo.
Yeah.
And it's got the same neck as my Epiphone. And that has the same neck as the ESP. So I've got to the point now where I know which brand I'm looking at and what I want out of it. So I like the neck on the fucking Les Paul or the Epiphone Les Paul, that style neck. So the ESP falls into that category. But now I've gone down this rabbit hole and you busted my balls about it. But it was like, now I want one of those with a fucking Floyd Rose in it.
Oh,
like my ESP, there's a version of it that has a fucking Floyd Rose in it. And if I'd have known that, I probably would have gotten that instead. Because it's just from us playing and launching the fucking guitar and it going out into the middle of the crowd because its strap broke and picking it back up and it's still in tune because it's all fucking locked down and super tight. Like, there's something awesome about that, even though I'll never be playing like that ever again. It's like I still have it in my head that like that's the perfect setup.
Yeah.
So that kind of drives me. So now I'm on like this. Oh my God, I'm like going nuts because there's an Epiphone that's hooked up that way.
You keep saying Epiphone.
Epiphone.
Like Epilady.
Epilady. I have an Epilady. Well, there's an Epilady down the road hooked up the way I want it. It was like they made it, I think, in like 2007. And the guy wants like a little bit of nothing, and it's driving me nuts that I haven't went and bought it. Like, it is fucking just blowing my mind that I haven't went and bought it. Because even if I bought it, I could flip it on eBay and make another 200, $300 off of it.
Yeah, well, that's
not going to happen though.
Yeah, well, exactly. That's always one of the, like, in the back of my mind, like how I convince myself to buy shit I shouldn't be buying is the investment factor of it. But it's like, yeah, but I'm never gonna fucking sell it, so that's like a pointless argument to myself.
It is. So before Amanda and I started dating, I was like, and it took me a while, even after we started dating, that she liked Instagram, and I was like, I'd look at it over her shoulder every once in a while. But before that, like my go-tos were Reverb and eBay, and back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. Sometimes Amazon, just a price check. And I would go fucking nuts. Like I might have an issue with microphones as well.
Yeah.
And I get made fun of because I have them in boxes laying around. And
but that's always good to have extra microphones around.
I got a couple. But so what are you focusing on for guitar now? Are you thinking the Ibanez? Because I got to tell you, when you brought that up, marked in my phone on eBay is the RG 550 and the RG 750, because I couldn't remember which one Matt had, and I keep looking for a silver and black one now.
Oh, nice. Yeah, that guitar, man. I've talked about this on one of the episodes before, but that definitely is on the list of, like, whatever. I wouldn't say it's like a regret or anything, but just I wish I would have bought that when I had the opportunity to buy that off of them, because that guitar would be exactly what I'm like looking to have to play in our band, because that guitar was fucking cool. But so I was looking at RGs, and that got me thinking that I was like, well, what, I know there's like a couple other companies that make sort of like Strat style bodies now. Like some of the more metal guitar companies are making more Strat styles. So I was looking at some LTDs, and there was definitely a couple, and I've played, my friend Larry, who I was talking about, he has an LTD that's actually really nice, and I do like how that plays, but they're a little too, and not that there's anything wrong with this, but for what I'm looking for, they're like a little too metally. Yeah, no, I think they're cool. I like their guitars, but I'm looking for something that's a little more of a hybrid of, like, maybe has like a metal feel, but looks a little more Strat. But these guitars that I did find that are fucking sick, and I'm pretty sure they're made by Schecter, but I think they're the Schecter. They're called, I think the model is called the Super Shredder, and they're fucking cool, man. They're basically like a combination of a Strat mixed with like an RG and an LTD. It's like a hybrid of like all three of those. But how you were just saying, like, you want a Floyd Rose, like I've had multiple Floyd Roses over the years, and I'm just not the biggest fan of them, and I'm really not anymore. Like, I really don't like them at all. So if I was looking at these Super Shredder guitars, and I only found like one model that has like a stop tail bridge. Like, they all have Floyd Roses, which makes sense because they're quote unquote Super Shredder. So obviously
that's able to fucking bend it.
Yeah, you want to bend it. So I don't know, man. I'm going to keep looking and see if I can come across one that's in a cool colorway that doesn't have a Floyd Rose, and I may pull the trigger on one. But I don't know, man. There's so many RGs out there, and it's just hard finding that one that's just not a ridiculous colorway. Like, I just don't want some weird, I don't know. There's just like a lot of weird finishes and stuff. I want like a very classic, like neutral tone, like just like a solid blue with like a white pick guard, just like something real basic. And all their finishes are very like the dragon's eye maple looking stuff. And that's just, I don't know. Those are just like, I don't play in Dream Theater. Like I don't like the aesthetic of those. So anyway, yeah.
So I fell in love like with the ESP.
Yeah.
Because as you know, it's basically on and go. Like, I don't button it, and I don't use pedals, and I never did. Like, so this guitar was like fucking hand of God punching me in the mouth when I saw it. Because
Yeah,
it
that
was,
guitar is awesome.
it just fucking, there's one goddamn pickup and there's one button on it. And it's either turned up or it's turned down. And there's no other options. And I was like, where in the fuck has this been all my life?
Well, there's a that gets the only thing I remember when I first played that guitar, I was like, oh my God, this thing's pretty amazing. And it's the only thing I don't like about it is it doesn't have fret markers. That's the only thing that kind of is a little bit of a buzzkill about playing that guitar.
So what's funny is when we jammed with Vern and Fred and I, he plays left-handed, which I didn't think was going to be a big deal. And it fucking blew my mind. And he didn't have fret markers either.
Oh, Jesus.
So it was like, I thought it'd be, I honestly didn't think there would be any kind of issue.
Yeah.
It was like, I honestly thought it would transpose super easy, but you're right. Without the fret markers on there, like he has them, but they're like real high up on the neck. So it's like you can barely see them, but they're there. But oh my God, dude, it just fucking killed me.
Yeah. And plus you were saying like the way he plays, like his timing's weird than what we're used to doing. So
oh my God,
that adds another layer of following along that makes it more difficult.
Dude, I guess we've just been doing the straight strumming punk rock for so long.
Yeah.
Like he just like, his timing's all, and it's just different. It blew my mind. I'm like, it's like, how I can't, it was just not, happening.
Yeah.
Like I'm not this shitty. Well, I am, but I can tell myself I'm not. And I usually believe it, but that day I felt like an ass because I'm like, I can't even fucking follow it. And your timing's weird. It's like, yeah,
there's a difference between like, like I wouldn't say your playing isn't shitty. It's just like being able to follow along.
Yeah.
Like it's like you have the ability to follow along with stuff you're familiar with. So
yeah, it was definitely, but it was fun. I mean, it's really cool. But he had a Gretsch and I was jealous. Like I was like, ooh, that looks fucking awesome. Like,
was it like a hollow body Gretsch?
No, it was a solid. But I remember playing Jimmy's from the left and I fucking loved it. I loved the way it felt.
Yeah.
I think the Rickenbacker feels that way too. Like I like the big fucking beefy necks. Like I think that's important. And I don't know whether it's my hand, but I like the way I can access the fretboard with it being round. Like it feels like it can slide around.
Yeah, I don't know, but yeah, dude, looking at guitars, it's fucking hard, man. Like it's like and I've been really good over the last decade or so too, because I sold off so many of my guitars that I used to have. And I mean, when I moved out here, I got rid of a bunch before I moved. And then when I got out here, I got rid of a couple that I actually moved out with because I was like, I wasn't playing guitar anymore. And I was like, man, I don't even need these. Like I barely played them before I wasn't playing guitar anymore. So I'm down to, oh yeah, that's fucking sick. Curtis is showing me a picture right now.
It's a Kramer. And it scares me because it's like,
really?
It's like at a price point that I could get one, but I'm like, do I want a Kramer that looks like a Les Paul with my Kramer neck? Because the Kramer neck, at least it used to be, it's kind of like, it's in between the Les Paul and the like Jackson necks. It's like, it's a little bit thicker. It's not as thick as like the Les Paul, but it's definitely thicker than like the Jackson necks were.
Yeah, your Kramer neck to me kind of feels like my Strat neck. It's like sort of similar. But yeah, I was actually thinking the other day when I was looking at stuff, I was like, man, like kind of laughing of thinking about I think at one point I had something like 23 or 25 guitars at one point. It was like the most I ever had at one time, which is fucking ridiculous. And now I think I have like 5 or 6 guitars right now. Which is the least amount I've ever owned other than when I started.
Right.
But I have my new hollow body that I got back at Christmas. I have my Strat.
I can't even believe you play a fucking Strat. That blows my mind.
Well, I used to not like them at all, and then
There's a
I
reason.
don't know. I got into them, and I love it now. But yeah, my Strat. I have I still have my BC Rich Warlock.
That's fucking awesome.
I have Dave Mustaine's signature Flying V, and I still have my Kramer, but that needs a bunch of work. I like stripped that for parts and stuff a while back. So yeah, I think that, or no, and I have a second Strat, which is kind of like I own with like 3 other people. It's sort of like a guitar that like a bunch of people sort of like simultaneously own, and we like pass it around to each other.
Nice, like an infectious disease.
Yeah, basically. But it's actually a made in Malaysia, like Squire Strat, and it's surprisingly really, really, really good quality for like being sort of like a low quality build. I don't know what it is about it, but it plays more like a made in Mexico Strat than like a lower one than that. But yeah, anyway, that guitar has been in like a bunch of different bands, and I had it for a while. Like my friend Jordan kind of gave it to me, and then I let my friend Brian borrow it. He's got it right now. So it kind of just like gets passed around. And anytime someone's like, hey, can I get the Strat? They're like, oh yeah, I'm not even using it. So,
oh my God, that's funny.
But technically I only really have 5 guitars right now in my possession, and only really 2 of them I even play. Like I only really ever play my BC Rich when I'm recording something that requires more of like a metal tone. Cause it's actually the only guitar I have right now that has EMGs in it. So if I want to get kind of like that EMG sound, I have to break that out. But I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what the next couple months brings. I'm definitely starting to get that itch to look for something that sort of fits what we do in the Craven Moorhead.
Nice. Yeah, and it's not a fucking Strat. I can tell you that shit.
Well, no, it's not. And for one thing too, for how we're practicing now with the Jamulus and all that stuff, my Strat's fine, but my Strat is only a single coil guitar. So, I definitely do need to have like more of a humbucker sound for what we do. And yeah, like I said, I want something that's more of a Strat feel, but I need something that's a little more speedy on the neck a little bit. And I think like an Ibanez is like that good, like middle ground between the two.
Ugh. Yeah, I'm like, I try to stay off of it, but I get bored with social media. But then I don't want to go back on because like I found like ESP, their Japanese division. They make a guitar like I want.
Yeah.
That it's basically an ESP with a different name on it, but they have like 2 versions of it. They make an Edwards, which is their expensive version, and they make this one called a Grassroots, which is the cheap version for Japan. And I was like, fuck, I could just get a cheap one and just rock that shit out. But I'm really dying because I really want, I guess, what I have behind me, but with a fucking Floyd Rose in it. Not that, like I said, not that I'll ever do anything stupid, be running around jumping like a fucking moron and throwing my guitar. That I need that there, but it's just something. It's in the noodle.
I remember, and correct me if I'm wrong on this, but I feel like I definitely have memories of you in lawn dart playing the Kramer and using the whammy bar as a handle to throw your guitar around as you played. More than like using it as to like dive bomb.
Probably so.
I like, for some reason I have this vision of you like hitting a chord, letting go of the neck and grabbing the whammy bar and just like, rah, like
that's what I do. That would be me. I remember like at the 8x10, like we did something, and I think I even had strap locks, but the fucking screw pulled through the wood.
Oh,
and the bitch just launched out through the crowd. It was awesome.
That's the only fucking buzzkill with those DiMarzio strap locks is the fucking screw would always get loose on those. So I always remember the trick to fix that. I forget where I even learned this from, but I was breaking a toothpick in half,
Yeah.
sticking the toothpick down in the hole, and then putting the screw back in.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's definitely one of the best ways to do it.
Yeah. I kind of got away from strap locks years ago, and the thing started doing, which is actually pretty fucking genius, and I don't remember where I originally saw this, but I've been doing this for probably about 10 years now, and it's putting your strap on your guitar, and then it's the that Grolsch beer
Mm-hmm.
that has like the green bottle with like the little white
Little pop top on it. Yeah.
pop top, the little red ring that's like the red ring seal on the Grolsch top.
Mm-hmm.
If you take those off, those things fit perfectly to go over your strap nut, like after you put your strap on. So it like locks your strap in place.
Ooh, that's pretty awesome.
Yeah. So I've been doing that for about 10 years now, and it's fucking awesome. Like because I saw someone doing that and I was like, whoa, what are those little red things? And someone's like, oh, those are the tops off of a Grolsch beer. I'm like, what? And they're like, yeah. I'm like, oh, that's fucking genius. So I went and bought two so I could get two of those rings. And I'm still using the same two that when I bought those originally.
That's fucking awesome. Yeah, I've not heard that trick. That's pretty fucking cool.
Yeah, yeah. So that's a good one to do for anybody out there who needs a upgrade from if you're using strap locks and you're worried about losing your strap, that's the way to do it.
Ugh. I think I strap locked everything still.
Yeah.
I'm
I
old.
mean, I think my Kramer still has strap locks. I know the Dave Mustaine Dean that I have, I actually bought that off a friend of mine, and he had installed, and I've never used this kind of strap lock before, but I don't even know what they're called, but it's essentially so you take out like if you buy the guitar brand new and it's just got the normal sort of like guitar strap nuts on there, you have to take those out and you have to drill new holes into the guitar where those would normally be. And there's these little like recessed, they're almost like, if you can imagine like anchors you would put in your wall to like hang a picture.
Yeah.
They're almost kind of something like that, but they're metal and they go down inside the holes you drill. And then the actual strap, there's like this hook thing that you like screw onto the strap, and it has a button that you push, and there's like little tabs that come out. So you like push the button in and the tabs go inside the rod, and then you push this rod down inside the little female thing that you drilled into the guitar. And when you let go of the button, these little tabs come out and like lock it into the guitar.
That's crazy. I have never seen that before.
Yeah, it's some like high tech shit. I don't know exactly what they're called. I'll look that up.
I think they're called the sausage locker.
It might be. I mean, missed opportunity if it's not.
Oh shit!
But, or the butt plug.
Oh, even better.
Yeah, but those are cool. I feel like, I mean, they feel really strong, but simultaneously they also feel like maybe there's a high probability of them failing though too. It's like when they're working, they're solid, but if one of those tabs break, that thing's gonna fucking fly right out.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's always fucking scary. God.
So, but yeah. Anyway, sickness of guitar players, dude. It's like it's just fun to look. I think if you can control the compulsion to actually pull the trigger on stuff, it's fun to look at stuff.
My control is much worse than it was before. Like even 6 months ago. Like now I'm just like, need to have it. Even though I know I don't need to have it.
Yeah.
But it's
like, I think for me, having two guitars that are probably like my most favorite guitars I've ever had makes it a little easier to contain the urge. But when there is a very specific way you're trying to play that your current guitars don't really allow for, then the urge gets stronger to be like, yeah, I don't know. We'll see what happens.
Oh my god.
Oh yeah, it's fun to look though.
Yeah, it's fucking. Ugh. So, did you do some research for the games?
I did. So I did some research a little bit, not a whole lot, but the thing that's crazy is basically what I said was going to happen is what happened. For 5 minutes after we stopped the last episode, I'd think of a bunch, and that's pretty much exactly what happened. And the thing I was concentrating on was like the side bands of bands.
Right.
And the very first one that came to me, and I was shooting myself, I was like, how did I fucking miss this when we were talking on air? But basically, the king, the undisputed king of the side band, Jello Biafra.
Shit.
Like I don't think anybody has more side projects than him that I could think of. I mean, if you count, I know like spoken word probably doesn't really count, but I mean all his spoken word stuff. There's Lard, there's Jello Biafra and DOA, Jello Biafra and Mojo Nixon.
Yeah,
I mean, he's just like, and like Jello and the Melvins. I mean, he's done so many like little side
Lard.
project. Yeah, I said Lard.
Oh,
Yeah,
did you? I wasn't paying attention.
yeah. But like all the different bands he's done with all the different people. I mean, it's just he's like the king of like side bands and side projects.
I like to argue that. I don't know if I can.
Yeah.
You might have sucker punched me.
And then another one I thought of too that is a good one for like hometown pride kind of a thing is the Bakerton group, which is Clutch's band.
Yeah, I was looking that up because I knew that they had it and I had it in my playlist, but I couldn't think of the name off the top of my head.
Gotcha. Well, so you tell yours because I have a third one, but my third one has the potential to lead into our possible main topic.
Go for the main topic. I didn't have one.
Oh, you didn't even have
no, any? I couldn't. Like I think I blew my load on on the first one when they came up with them, and it was just like they didn't keep steamrolling like I thought they would.
Yeah,
and it was just like for me, it was like, eh.
Gotcha. Well, my third one was Napalm Death because they have a side band. They've always done a bunch of side projects. They've had Blood from the Soul, which was the band that Shane from Napalm Death did with Lou from Sick of It All. It was kind of like this weird, like industrial metal kind of band. It's like an early 90s thing. They also have this band called Venomous Concept, which is like a side project. It's really cool. I think it's the bass player and drummer of Napalm Death. I think the one guitar player may have played on something at one point. But then anyway, that got me thinking about just their whole circle and just how many bands have spawned either around the same time as Napalm Death or were side projects or became main bands. So like there's so many members that have been in Napalm Death who have went on to do other stuff. There's like Carcass, Godflesh, shit, I'm drawing a blank now. Oh, Cathedral. But yeah, so I don't know. There's been a lot of bands that have spawned out of that nucleus of Napalm Death, and just they're essentially so responsible for creating like a genre and a scene.
Right.
But so what that got me thinking of is just that as a concept of like what scenes do you think have created some of the best music and or are your favorites?
So as I was listening to you, I was typing in because for some reason I think I listened to Dr. No last week
Okay.
And then that led me down to listen to Ill Repute, which I had never listened to before.
Yeah.
And about halfway through the fucking record, I text Phil. I was like, why have I never listened to them?
Yeah.
Like, I think like that whole, so to bring that into what you're saying is, I think like that whole scene was so underappreciated because Doggy Style is still probably, I don't listen to them like I used to, but like the first like Doggy Style and like up to the second album where they ripped off Led Zeppelin cover, like I can listen to and love. But it was like those bands, like they're really fucking good and don't get a lot of credit.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that's one thing I can definitely speak on from personal experience is just growing up, and for whatever reason, and this ties into what you just said. I feel like for whatever reason, our group of friends, I mean, maybe Phil was a little bit more on board and maybe Clevenger, but
Yeah, they were into like the Doug Moody Super Sevens stuff. Like they
yeah,
were
like all the Oxnard shit. Like I
mm-hmm.
feel like that's not something that I really got into until later. But what's really cool is, like 10 years ago, when I was playing drums in Somali Pirates, I guess we were like, I don't know, like basically the singer, both the guys who I played with in the band, they were Oxnard dudes, and they moved to San Diego, but um, they had like really like deep ties in the Oxnard scene, and like they knew like the Ill Repute guys, and they were kind of like they were like sort of like the next generation or whatever,
Right.
but they were kind of in with all that stuff. So we went up there and played a bunch of shows. And I got to have like a little taste of that scene, and it's fucking cool, man. Like like the history, like that kind of got me into like delving more into getting into the history of all those bands and listening to them more and stuff like that. And it really is. I feel like that is a very underrated scene, a lot of underrated bands, and every experience I ever had going up there and like meeting people, everyone is like so nice and friendly, and the shows were always really good and popping off really cool. And I actually, one of like my coolest memories of going up there is I think there's like I think it's either from an aggression song or an Ill Repute song, but there's some lyric where they talk about going down to like a corner store or something in one of the songs, and I actually got to go and like
Oh,
go
that's
to this
fucking like
actual
the Quickie
store.
Mart.
Yeah, kind of like that scenario. So I got to go to that actual store that this song was like written about. But yeah, super cool scene. And yeah, for whatever reason, that wasn't as on our radar as much.
Yeah, like they were into like the Toxic Shock stuff. Like
Yeah.
until I met Phil, or actually probably second time around hanging out with Phil. Like then we got it like into the Toxic Shock stuff. And that brought the inbred into play and
Yeah.
fucking Dayglow. And I don't even know if Dayglow was on Toxic Shock. That's where you got the record from. Like
I think I think one of their earlier records might have been on there. But yeah, and Raw Power.
yeah. So like that's another one to me. I mean, because you could take it what scene or is it a label? But I think because I actually had in my phone for some reason, like I'm doing an eye roll for you peeps. Is Chain of Strength came up in my like million song playlist, and I went through and fucking listened to like the whole, I guess, discography, or at least the Revelation and the whatever that other 7-inch was on. I can't remember which Foundation or Frontier. Something. It's not Frontier, but anyway. And I was like, they are fucking. There, I still like them. Like I can listen to them, and like I had no problem. Like I listened to it like 2 or 3 times. It wasn't like I listened to it and I was done with it. It was like I could listen to that again, and like it kept going and going and going. And it was like, but they were California on Revelation, so it's like, do you do what? How do you want to play the game?
Yeah. Well, I don't even know if that has to be a game, but just
Right.
like talking about, I mean, Chain of Strength, that's that's definitely a band that I can still rock from time to time and still get into. So I agree with you on that. But I guess maybe, and like your opinion, of course, but who do you think did it better? I guess would be a way to kind of take it, is like, do you think that New York, New Jersey, Connecticut kind of bands, who did the straight edge thing better? Did East Coast or West Coast?
Well, I'm going to be East Coast on that. That's not even fair. Yeah,
because I definitely think I would tend to go East Coast, but there's definitely some West Coast heavy hitters that are definite contenders, though.
Well, and that is exactly what I was going to say. It was like there was a quantity here where it felt like there was more a quality that came. Like if they came into that scene, like the New York hardcore scene, and they were that good, then they were like I'm thinking of like No for an Answer, and I guess Chain of Strength, and you didn't even do like Earth Crisis and shit like that, but they were like really fucking good. Like it wasn't
Earth Crisis is East Coast.
Oh wait, who am I thinking of? There's another one.
You're thinking of Strife, maybe.
Maybe I'm thinking of Strife. That's what it is. But
they're from LA, I think.
Yeah. Oh, so I don't know. It's just like I'm sure there were a shit ton of those bands like there was in New York, but it was like that scene was so strong and so prominent. And it was like, I think it was completely influential, at least to me. And like, to me, it was bizarre to go back and watch like some documentaries and realize how narrow-minded and naive I was to believe that that was the scene. It was just that facet, and there wasn't much past it. Like not accepting the fact that Murphy's Law, who I fucking love, was part of that and but they were running on the outside. And it was like, no, it was just one facet that I was like way into, and I kind of didn't miss because slowly I think I started trickling into it. Like the dudes, what was it? Rejuvenate, fucking love them. It was like in like Nausea. It was like they were there, just they didn't get the publicity. If I don't even know if that's the right word, but they didn't have the, and I guess it's the comps. Like the comps were what fucking made that shit work.
Yeah.
Even like, cause I found the way it is when is that it is. No, what's the one with it came out afterwards with Breakdown and not Breakdown. Fuck, Outburst was on it.
Oh, I know which one you're talking about. I have it. I can't think
Maximum
of what it's called.
Pound, right? Maximum Pounding. It was like all of like the other kind of hardcore bands that weren't part of that scene. Like it was like
because it has like Norman Bates and the Showerheads and stuff.
Exactly.
Like
and they're fucking awesome. And what were they? Six and Violence after that?
Well, I think one or two of the guys were in Six and Violence or something like that.
Fucking awesome.
Yeah.
So it's
well, you didn't. So
I didn't answer it.
No, you answered it. But I think what I was going to add is that I mean, East Coast had the monopoly on like that, on the straight edge stuff. In my opinion, however, I do believe that, in my opinion, one of the best straight edge hardcore records of all time is Uniform Choice Screaming for Change.
How the fuck do I miss that one? Oh my God.
So I believe that East Coast has the monopoly on the quantity of bands, but I don't think in my opinion, I don't think any East Coast straight edge record tops that record. Because that record is so awesome and aggressive, and just like there's power in that record. Like the recording of that, just the riffs, the singing, just like everything about that record is like still gets me fired up to this day, more than a lot of East Coast stuff still like does.
So that's funny, because the fact that I completely forgot them, and they were by far like one of my favorites. That's funny as shit that I kind of let that in slide.
Yeah. And I don't know for a fact, but I'm pretty sure they're California, right?
Yeah. Yeah, they're
Yeah.
Orange County, I believe.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah,
But
they
yeah.
were they were badass. I wish I would have saw. There's one of the bands. That's a whole wish I would have seen.
Yeah.
Missed them.
Yeah.
I don't even remember them playing though. Like maybe they did after just staring into the sun or something like that.
Yeah, I was gonna say they were probably already into their like we're not screaming for change sound anymore by the time it would have even been a chance to see them.
Yeah, see, I'm thinking that's right.
Because I mean that record's what, like 85, 86?
Don't I seven?
So
I
I
didn't
mean
think
I
it was
wasn't
that.
even listening to shit like that
Yeah.
quite yet.
So I mean that brings up. From this side, and I've always kind of noticed it is like, and I think we might have even touched on this earlier. Is like the difference between the East Coast and West Coast when it comes to like a production and just sound, where the East Coast was always to me a little bit more raw, rugged, and fucking in your face, where West Coast stuff always seemed, and maybe it was just the bands we listened to, but even like,
and are you talking
in
like
general,
all punk and hardcore in general at
yeah,
this point?
in general, yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
because who can deny like the influence of like Discord and like
Yeah.
that DC scene? Like that's, how do you deny that? It's like it's a weird.
Well, so my 2 cents that I can add to that particular point would be me like speaking from experience of living on both coasts. So I think that geography and weather do play a big part in like shaping like musical sensibilities, because I think having seasons on the East Coast and having weather and having snow and like the trials and tribulations that come with like living in places that have 4 seasons and like, dealing with shoveling snow and like
Well,
cleaning your car off. And
hey, it
there's just,
sounds like you don't miss snow.
no, I don't at
Oh, you're a
all.
fucking moron.
But I can see now how that changes the vibe of things. Like there are more reasons to be a little bit more like grimy and pissed off on the East Coast than there are on the West Coast. It's, things are a lot easier here when it comes to weather and seasons type of thing. So, that's definitely going to shape how how you're brought up, and like maybe your sensibilities of writing lyrics and like the riffs you write. It's probably why like pop stuff is a little more popular out here and maybe and written a little bit better, is because it's like there's a little more of a happy-go-lucky vibe versus rawness of the streets and cold and stuff on the East Coast.
So I'll see your happy go lucky.
Yeah.
And I rebuke no. So I always kind of got the vibe that it was like that SoCal was like a hub of like music in general. Just I know New York is too, but like it was a hub, and there was how do I want to say this? It was just, there was like they had to, I guess they had to do it in New York too. You rented weird times in the studio so you go in and record. Like Agent Orange, I think, did all their shit between like on third shift or whatever that is. It was all done through the night. It wasn't done like because you couldn't afford to fucking go in a recording studio and fucking pay for it. So it was like that kind of like, there was always, I guess, a ton of musicians around, and it was very much musically influenced. It doesn't sound right the way I'm saying it. But anyway, I just kind of feel like in LA, outside of LA, like there was a definitely music vibe where I know that New York is, but it's still, New York's like raw. To me, it's still raw and dirty. Like it is. Like that is it. Like,
Well, East Coast definitely has a sound. I mean, there's plenty of bands from California that are really heavy, but there's just, I don't know. It's just East Coast just does it different somehow. There's just something about the style of the riffs. I don't know. Like I said,
I don't even know. Like it's I don't know if it's even. I don't want to say better, but it's like it could be just like a different approach. And like you say, it's a mindset. Like I mean, but every city had like kind of a style, right? Like Baltimore was all like it was all heavy, it
yeah,
beat down. Where
yeah,
I didn't get all that from DC. Like when I think of Baltimore as heavy and beat down, like DC was heavy but melodic because I think of like oh shit, not Damnation AD, but whoever they were before that, and then like Four Walls Falling and shit like that, where it
yeah.
was a little bit more. It was still Four Walls Falling is not very heavy, but there was definitely even a difference between the two. And I
The first Four Walls Falling is really good though.
is
It's
that
it's it's heavy, but in a different way.
yeah, and I think that Worlds Collide was who I was trying to think of,
Oh yeah.
and like because I fucking love Worlds Collide, and that was then they became Damnation AD. I believe that's right.
Well, I think DC sort of always aired on the side of even the bands that were like quote unquote heavier still ran that sort of like post hardcore vibe into whatever they were doing, even if it was still like heavy. Whereas like Baltimore was always kind of more, like you said, is like more beat down, like street oriented
Yeah, oh, that
than
yeah,
I'd be hard pressed to think of a band from Baltimore that wasn't like that style from like 80s and 90s.
I'm trying. I mean, there was like
There
there
was, but
was, but
I
like when
can't
you
think of
think,
any.
but I think in the circles we ran in, I think yeah, you're
Yeah.
definitely dead on. I mean, there were. I think it was part of the conversation, and I think it was part of the one we lost about just it was like just everybody runs in different cliques, and even if you don't know, or it's sometimes it's the people you know, it's who you get involved with, so that like I can never find the stupid hardcore people. Like everybody was
Yeah.
so fucking serious, and that's like that's why we drove fucking an hour and a half to go back to Hagerstown and play dumb. Like it was like it was weird.
Well, I kind of back to, and not that I don't feel like we got off topic or anything, but just like back to sort of my original idea for this was about just lots of bands sort of spawning from like one like nucleus point, like sort of how like Napalm Death's from Birmingham and like all those bands like Carcass and all that stuff like kind of spawned from that area, just like basically like creating a whole sound and a whole scene. And like another one I was thinking of that sort of did that um was like the death metal scene in Florida, like kind of like the Tampa scene, like where all those like the Cannibal Corpse guys were originally from Buffalo,
Right.
and they moved down to Florida, and then just all the shit that spawned from there, like Cannibal Corpse, like Obituary, Deicide, like all that shit came sort of out of there, and then like all the bands that were going to that Morrisound recording studio in Florida in the '90s to record so that was like the hot spot to record death metal albums. And I don't know, I find that fascinating how there's just like being at the right place in the right time, and it ends up just creating this whole sound that just becomes like its own subgenre of like the bigger scene. Like if you don't have Cannibal Corpse moving to Florida, there's probably like a shitload of bands that never fucking exist.
Right. Like
So I just find
I'm
that fascinating,
huh.
and there's lots of shit like that. Like even just locally for us, and in Baltimore, like if Gut Instinct never exists, like does Next Step Up exist? Do
Does
the
stout
Slumlords exist?
exactly. Yeah, it does the trickle down.
Yeah, and like DC, like so many examples there. Like, does whatever. Like if
you
some
can,
of the Discord bands don't exist, does Damnation AD become a band? I don't know.
right. So like I think I was thinking more of even like regional, because I think of like Cleveland and like fucking Ringworm and Integrity.
Yeah, that's another good one.
Like
Yeah,
like those guys, like that whole, but they seem to be the forerunners of it, right? Not the forerunners, but they're still the cream of the crop.
yeah. Well, actually, that's funny you mentioned Cleveland bands too, because I had them on my list and I didn't write it down, so I forgot. But In Cold Blood was an awesome side project band of like the Integrity dudes. It was basically Integrity with a different singer. They had like one record on, well, I think they had two records, but their one record was on Victory.
So
It has like, I think the cover is like a nuclear explosion or something. It's like a
yeah, or
black
is
and
that
white
All Out
cover.
War? Or do I
No,
have nope?
I'm pretty sure it's In Cold Blood is the side band from the Integrity dudes.
Oh,
But that record is fucking awesome. I haven't listened to that in a long time, but that's definitely a cool side band. But that's cool. It's cool to think about just all the bands who just may not have existed if it wasn't for just that initial spark of sort of creativity that was coming out of one area. I mean, dude, it's crazy too. You think about it, there's so many bands from Birmingham, and it's like kind of goes back to what I was saying about East Coast and West Coast, like weather shaping like the sensibilities of a band. I mean, Birmingham could be a good example of not only weather, but also just socio-political climate or just like where you grow up that like shapes like the type of music that comes out of there. Cause like I'm like Black Sabbath's from there. I think Judas Priest, I believe, is from there. So it's just
right.
like, cause that was like it's like a steel town, I guess, or whatever, like factory town.
Mm-hmm.
So just the kind of like the whole idea of like actually like working in factories and hearing machinery. I think like Tony Iommi, maybe I saw an interview with him. It was just like about that exact thing, like the sounds of the town, like shaping like rhythms they would create or whatever.
Didn't he lose his finger in a machining accident?
Yeah, I think he was like getting that was like his last day at his job. He was like going to like quit his job to go be in the band, and like he lost his fingers on that last day.
Ugh.
But that plays into their sound though, because that was a big part of why they became what they were, is because he had to tune his guitar down to be able to like use his little fake fingertips correctly,
Oh, that's so fucking weird.
because he couldn't press the strings down if they were tuned to standard tuning. So that's why they tuned down so his fake fingertips would work better.
Did not know that.
Yeah. So like the tuning down thing was like more of like a happy accident than like they were purposely trying to be heavier.
Right. Fuck, I did not know that. That's crazy.
Yeah. Yeah. His little like fucking fingertip things that he made like wouldn't push the strings.
I'm still going back about the East Coast and West Coast thing, because it was, the music spawned at the same time. And even though Black Flag was messy, it wasn't super clean compared to like even Minor Threat. It's like one's very, very raw and one's still got a little bit of refinement to it. Maybe I'm wrong in saying that, but
What you think you're saying Black Flag has a refinement
yeah.
than
Yeah.
like a Minor Threat?
Yeah. Like if I would throw the two on and
Yeah.
listen to it, and this was, I guess, goes back to what I was trying to say, is the level of accessibility to the actual good recording equipment,
Yeah.
good studios, good producers or engineers versus, and no dig on the place I grew up, but there's going to be an influx of those people because of the music scene that's in Southern California and LA and that whole deal versus DC. It's like I think of like Skip. Skip was the guy who sat in fucking Vinyl Ink and was wiener to Phil when he bought the Black Fire. No, not Vinyl Ink, but Yesterday and Today.
Uh-huh.
giving Phil shit for buying Black Flag records. Like it was,
Oh, really?
yeah, because he bought like 5 or 6, and he's like, "Ooh, instant Black Flag collection." It's like, nice
Oh,
job,
God.
Dick. You're selling this stuff, so shut
Yeah,
up.
right. Yeah, well, don't make it available to me.
Yeah, and so, but like is that kind of like play into it?
Yeah, well, I think that's a valid point too. I mean, thinking about just, you know, I would say overall that California is the more of the epicenter of where a lot of like popular music has spawned from. So you're obviously going to have way more of a selection of places to record and, just like more connections. Whereas, most bands probably in the 60s and 70s and 80s who were trying to be famous, who were from the East Coast, are moving to California to get famous.
Yeah.
So because of that exact reason, like there's not like a sustainable infrastructure on the East Coast to like propel your career further. So it's like you had to kind of move to get better recordings and
you
get
moved to
better
LA
connections.
as a metal band so you could get fucking signed and
Yeah.
found so you could blow up. Like it was, I mean, that's what it is. Even though Kicks had gotten bigger, like they got bigger when they went to LA.
Yeah.
It's one of the, it is what it is. I think.
Or they had the industry connections maybe on the East Coast, but they're like, hey, you got to come out here if you want to get to the next level or whatever.
Right. So I think now, without all that being said,
yeah,
I think things have changed now. I have like home studios, and what's available to people now is fucking unbelievable.
Oh, it's crazy. I know we've like kind of touched on this a little bit before, but I mean, just in the last 2 weeks, I've like I told you, I sort of went down the rabbit hole of looking at VSTs and stuff like that. And it's crazy. Like you really can make just incredible sounding recordings on your own now, even if you don't even totally know what you're doing yet. There's like stuff that will just like literally will mix shit for you now if you don't want to like try to mix stuff yourself. It's insane.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. It's funny as I saw, and I don't know how the fuck it ended up in my YouTube stream, but it was like tenured producer versus like somebody learning.
Yeah.
And like they switched programs, and the producer was only allowed to use like rock band, not rock band, what's it called? Garage band,
Yeah.
and whatever loops and shit were in there. And then the newbie went into, I think it was Pro Tools. But I mean, looking at it, it's unfair to the newbie to get thrown into like Pro Tools or something, because the guy looked like he produced something really good. Like they basically used the same song, and it was like how they developed it.
Mm-hmm.
It's like what did they add, how they bring it to life. So, and at the end of the day, the producers sounded better, but the other guy, like I think if it would have been, I don't think it was apples to apples to start with, because I think the tenured producer, he had, even though he had a pre-boxed kind of set of tools to work with, he knew all of them and knew how to use it, because the shit's made to be uber user friendly. Where the newbie guy got thrown into, and all of a sudden he's trying to figure out how to fucking do beats and all this other shit on top of, or additional beats, additional sounds, where they were coming from. So that way, to me, it was a little lopsided in the producer's favor. But the kid still knocked out a fucking awesome, mix and production, even though, I mean, he was under, he wasn't ready for that challenge. I mean, he said he was, but like it was completely like he should have had 2 weeks to learn how to use fucking Pro Tools before being dropped into it, or the plug-in instruments.
Well, I mean, I can say from experience, and I've really learned this a lot this past week, is just how much, I mean, this can apply to everything in life. I mean, they say that like you what you're supposed to put in. If you have like, what is it? I forget what the rule is, but if you have like 10,000 hours in on anything, like if you pick a hobby, if you put in 10,000 hours, that's when you're sort of considered like a master at whatever that thing is for the most part. And I really believe that's true, because I think if you keep practicing something and you just keep doing it, you really will. You're always going to like get better. And I actually have been working on remixing an album this week of a band I recorded back in 2010. And I was never like really happy with how the recording turned out at the time anyway. There's a lot of shit that went into reasons for that. I won't go into all of them, but basically there was some limitations that I had with my computer at the time that I had to make some decisions based on like the speed of my computer, which kind of degraded some of the sound a little bit on some instruments. And but anyway, I just always wanted to come back to it at some point. And in the last like week and a half or so, I dug those files out and I wanted to give it a go at just like listening to what I recorded 10 years ago and what I could do with it now. And what was the first thing that was really terrible was just I forgot. At the time I thought the recording was okay. I was like, this is okay. Like I knew it was like demo quality, but I was like, for a demo, it's good enough. And listening to it now, I'm like, this is fucking crap. I was like, I like honestly, I felt kind of embarrassed that I even gave it off to the band for them to like even like try to do something with, because it was horrible. Um so I Over, like I said, last week and a half or so, I've been spending some time like working on it and re-sculpting it and kind of like just like taking all the things I've learned over like the last 12 years and applying it to this recording. And there are some things I wasn't able to really dig too deeply into because there's actually some files that I needed to get open that I don't have the software anymore to even open these files to extract things I needed. So I was sort of limited to what things I could actually dive in to fix. But the remix that I've done so far, it's crazy how much better it sounds compared to what I did 12 years ago. Like it's completely night and day. And it honestly, like it was like a moment of pride where I was like, dude, like I kind of like know what I'm doing
Right.
nowadays. So I don't know. It was cool to like actually take something that sounded like complete garbage and actually make it into something that I'm going to be like stoked to hand back off to those guys again. And maybe they can actually like do something with it now.
Right. So I mean, did they? So I guess my question is, it didn't fucking put them back. It didn't hurt them that you recorded it and it didn't come out as well as you wanted. You didn't like set them back, did you? I mean,
Well, I think that they never really did anything with it just because I think they just didn't like how it sounded. I mean, they always kind of like in a roundabout way told me that, and you know, I recorded it for free. So like how much can you really bitch about a free recording?
right.
But I just think, you know, and like I'm good friends with those guys and stuff too. So I think it was just kind of like they were appreciative that I did it. And, you know, they didn't want to be like, hey, this recording sucks. Like, can we do it again or whatever? So
Yeah.
it's just kind of like they just let it go kind of a thing. And just like, you know, we did it. It was fun, but we don't like it enough to want to like put it out.
Right.
So, but, and, you know, they're not a band anymore or anything. And I don't like none of those guys even play music much anymore, but I think it would just be cool to like give it to them and just so like for themselves, like have something that sounds a lot better now.
Oh, I know that feeling.
Yeah.
No,
Well,
that feeling.
so the one thing I haven't really like mentioned yet, but you kind of know, but I've been working on like new music and what's crazy is the new like sort of demos I've been working on of the new songs I'm kind of putting together, just the demo recordings I'm doing sound so much better than any of like my sort of quote unquote like fully mastered put out releases, that I'm actually thinking about taking like all my favorite songs on all my previous releases and re-recording them,
Oh, that's awesome.
because I'm liking the sounds I'm getting so much. So it's just kind of funny that we've been having these conversations about bands doing re-records and like, is that cool? Should bands do them? And I'm like, oh, and I'm kind of like, I would never re-record my own shit. That's like a moment in time and just leave it as is. But I'm like, I don't know, man. Like, I'm kind of like, I don't even like listening to some of the old stuff now, because of like, if I can re-record the songs that I do still play off my old stuff and make them sound this good, like I'll fucking delete those original ones
Oh
off
my
my
God, that's
Bandcamp page.
horrible. That is fucking wrong.
Yeah. So I don't know. I think it's kind of like maybe falls back into just the sickness of shopping for guitars, the sickness of always trying to improve your own works of art, I guess.
Oh,
Like
absolutely. Yeah.
when should you cut yourself off from being allowed to do
Fuck
that?
that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that's so the guy that I've been watching. We got into the big band production, and I need to pick it back up. Like there was, I think the one video was an hour and a half with the guy laying drums for a song, and I'm like, I was like, oh, I mean it's still interesting because them going back and forth and ideas and them doing their placement of mics and stuff, but you know he kind of preaches this, and I like the more I think about it, the more I'm still afraid to even do it. But if he does something, say records a guitar and he uses an emulator, he'll render it so he can't go in and start tweaking the guitar sounds.
Like flatten it out.
Yeah, he'll be like, this is what I wanted, this is where we are, and I'm gonna flatten this, and it is what it is. Like if I go back and re-record it, but it's not, I'm going to sit here and keep tweaking the sound of it.
Yeah.
And he does it.
I support that. That's actually not a bad idea. Well, the one thing I was thinking about is I wouldn't do like a full re-record. I don't think. It would just basically be probably because I really like the bass and guitar tones that I've gotten. So I'd probably just go back and re-record just bass and guitar. I'd leave the drums and keyboards and stuff, and I'd probably re-sing the songs though. But I don't know. I'm still on the fence about whether I'm going to do that or not. The only thing I'm worried about is having, and this has been a problem since the beginning of me doing my solo thing, is sort of being like a one-man band and like playing to like a backing track, is as my recordings have evolved, the sort of like the sound of the backing tracks have changed. So as the recordings get better, they don't like match up live all the time. So by re-recording songs from my original, like my first couple releases that I still play, if I were to re-record those, I could have like a more consistent live sound with the backing tracks.
Oh, I think I can't get my head around how you're out of sync. I guess.
Well, just because the recording's like so much different. So
right.
On my backing, like the drums are pretty much the same, but like, let's say for example, if I make these, cause I have like a bunch of new songs. So if I have these like 4 to 6 new songs and they're using this guitar and bass tone that I really like, that isn't going to match the guitar and bass tones of the original recordings from like the first record.
Yeah. I'm following you.
Yeah. So kind of like doing a re-record just because it's a better recording, but also to like match.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense too. That makes, so I mean, by the way you do things, it actually makes a lot of sense. And to me, then I wouldn't want to fucking render out my guitars at any point, because if I go record and I go into another thing I like, then I can just change it to that preset versus.
Well, and that's actually something I inadvertently did since I've been recording my own stuff, is I never record like basically everything you just described that guy does, where he'll record like DI, but then add the effect onto the guitar after the fact, so it's like a clean recording signal. I actually never did that on all my old stuff. When I would record, I was essentially recording as a flattened sound from the get-go. So I don't have the ability to go back in and just swap sounds.
I understand
which sucks.
I understand that. And yes, I think when you have that capability, that like I even though he said it and that's how, I don't know if I could do it, because in the reason he does is it keeps you from going back and tweaking shit you don't need to tweak. It keeps you from overthinking it because you can't go back and fix it. Like it's done. And it's hard for me to even get my head around the fact that I would want to mic my amp and record a sound off my amp when I knew I could do it in the emulator and I could get the sound I want. And yet if I needed to tweak it, I could tweak it. It's a definitely, I would never think about doing it that way, even though it works and that's how it's been done for fucking umpteen years. Like,
yeah, no, totally. And is there, I don't know. I think about this from time to time too. Is there with all the options we have, like the shit we're talking about right now, is there some type of a magic that is lost by not having a time constraint in a studio where you're paying to like get something knocked out? You know, like we have 8 hours to record 10 songs, like go. Like there's an element that I miss of that.
So I say yes.
Yeah.
And I think it's more, and I don't know about like fucking rock star bands, but like if you are a fucking small punk band and you're paying to go by the hour, that shit better be tight when you walk in the fucking door.
Oh yeah.
There shouldn't be any trying to figure this shit out as we go. And I think that is the downfall of being able to keep tweaking and keep tweaking and keep tweaking. Oh my God. So I don't know if I brought this up. So the Chlamydians, the Roach was like, if I had one regret about the first recording is that we didn't practice it more. Gavin's like, I cannot believe you said that in front of my dad. Because I was like, dude, you should have multiple songs, not one song, and you should know those bitches in and out. Like there shouldn't be this, we got to release a song so we have something that's out in front of us. Like it was like, no, you need to have songs. So if somebody likes you and wants you to play a show, you have songs and not a bunch of fucking covers. I mean, it was like,
yeah, but that's also that could also fall into the category of like thinking like an old guy too, because that's just, I don't think that's how things work now with social media.
Well, and that was like I brought up last week was like, do bands make full fucking good albums anymore?
Yeah,
because the push now is to get the single, and if you can get that, or you're just doing a bunch of shit tracks just to fill in between it, just so you have stuff. Especially I like established bands, because I forget who it was on the Instagram, and they were playing a song. They were like, this is probably a filler song for the album. I'm like, well, why the fuck do I want that song if it's a fucking filler song? I want like, you still hold on to listening to the fucking album the whole way through.
Yeah.
And it's like, and I used to dog my sister about it because she'd listen to a fucking song 100 times, then take the CD out and not listen to the rest of the fucking album. It's like, motherfucker, dude, there's more than one song in the CD.
Yeah.
But it's like, well, it bothers me that there aren't, because I'm not, I like the Venom Incorporated 2 songs that they have on iTunes right now, a shit ton. And my biggest fear is those are the best 2 songs on the album.
Yeah.
That all of a sudden the rest of it's just going to be packing it in to kind of just fill out another 40 minutes.
Yeah. Well, one thing I can guarantee is there's not going to be any filler on the new Craven Moorhead record when that comes out. because I was gonna say I can't stress enough how much I appreciate our group text because they always bring a smile to my face. And if if the role that we're on right now is any indication of where this record is shaping up, it's going to be fucking awesome.
Oh my God. I just shake my head.
Yeah. Does that so we should tell people about the text from the other day. We were texting and we were coming up with lyrics.
Oh,
and we were on a text. It was Curtis and I and Fred, and we were doing lyric, or like I started coming up with like a couple lines. Curtis had a song idea,
which I fucking slaughtered, and I want to bitch about that to you in person. My fucking strumming and guitaring was so fucking horrible, and I knew it. And but it was like I had a limited amount of time, and I swear to fucking God, I love you, Easy Drummer. Love, 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 Easy Drummer. But the way I've always worked with Easy Drummer is I find my drum beat, then write music over top of it, so that when I'm playing, it matches.
Yeah,
I have never come in with a riff and then tried to fit the drums into the riff, and I spent so much fucking time. And it wasn't what I wanted. Like I ended up with like the one riff is like a disco beat because I couldn't find anything straight and clean. I'm like, I just want straight oompa oompa oompa, and I'm not getting a fucking oompa band. I'm getting all this fucking crazy.
So I got this audio file from Curtis. He's like, I wrote a riff. I'm like, oh cool, and I'm like listening to it, and I mean, I got the gist of like what was going on. I mean, it's definitely cool, but it like literally sounded like a 5-year-old kid put it together. I was fucking cracking up, but then I don't know. So we started I came up with some lines and started writing lyrics. God. So I'd sort of come up with like lyrics to like the whole first part of a song, and then about an hour later, Fred joins the
Fred fucking thread. Wakes up.
He's like, I went away for an hour and come back to all this. And it was just like I had written like these most obscene fucking lyrics.
It was awesome.
And yeah.
Oh my God.
It was definitely hilarious. But yeah, I think we're really finding our footing.
We're finding something. I don't know if it's fucking footing. Oh my God.
But yeah, that's why we'll bring it back full circle to the guitar buying, because I was like, all right, it's time. It's time to like get a new axe. I gotta have a Craven Moorhead style axe to like write these songs correctly.
Oh my God. I sent it. I think within a minute, I sent a follow-up text saying, don't fucking pick on the guitar because it's horrible. And it was fucking.
Should I post that clip on the website?
No, it's goddamn embarrassing. But I wanted to get it because I might forget something, so I wanted to get it in. But like I said, I spent so much time fucking trying to get the drums. But let me add, I also, since the Dammy Doodle was away, I fucking binged Finding Bigfoot. Season 3, I think. And so I was just like, I should have started earlier on Saturday trying to lay the track down and try to get everything ironed out, but I had to finish. She was away, and I fucking watched 14 episodes of Finding Bigfoot. Guess what? They didn't find him.
Yeah, I figured. I'm not shocked.
Oh my God. I love it though. It is so fucking. They found more stuff that should have showed up on Ghost Hunters than they did on Finding Bigfoot, but they did, or Expedition Bigfoot. It's not those 3 Bilbo and whatever those guys are. It's like
I've never watched this show ever, so I don't know.
I think I like Expedition Bigfoot and not Finding Bigfoot. I don't know. Now I have to look because we give props to the right people.
We just recently got Disney Plus.
Just
Just because I was like, man, I wanted the Star Wars channel because there's like so much shit on there I haven't seen yet.
Yeah.
And we were borrowing a Disney Plus account from a friend of ours for a while, and I don't know, his parents also use it, so he was just like, let me know when you're logged in. So it was like one of those whole things. So we were appreciative that he let us use it, but we're like, we're just gonna get our fucking own so we don't have to like deal with that. And anyway, I finally got to watch Obi-Wan.
I haven't watched that.
Oh my god. I fucking loved that. I thought it was seriously, I mean, I'm a huge Star Wars fan, and I really liked The Mandalorian. I thought
that
that
was
done
fucking awesome.
Yeah, I thought that was done really, really well. I thought Obi-Wan was just as good, if maybe not even a little bit better.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I'm actually probably gonna. I watched the whole series in a day because I was like so hooked on it. I was
kind of like Expedition Bigfoot.
Apparently so, yeah. And I started watching the Book of Boba Fett. I'm not feeling that one as much.
I don't think Gavin liked it either.
It's okay. I don't dislike it, but Obi-Wan Kenobi was seriously like, that was unreal. It was awesome. So if you're a Star Wars fan and haven't watched that yet, highly recommend it.
There you go. Expedition Bigfoot season 3.
I'm kind of scared to get into watching a show like that. I don't know how I feel about that. I guess I don't know. But I mean, you already spoiled it anyway because they don't find him, so there's no point in watching.
Well, guess what? There's fucking 3 seasons, so no shit they haven't found him, or they wouldn't have went past season 1. It's funny. I don't know.
Yeah, I guess actually the key to that is like actually not finding him is the better option, right?
Yes, absolutely.
Because you can't keep the cash cow going if you find him.
Oh shit.
Yeah, that, you know what? That's actually a really good topic. Is like, what is it? Is it better to never find these things, or like to maybe, is that the gimmick of all of this? Is like these things are basically like a religion. There's like never any way to prove it. It's like all based on faith, and it's like all about making money. So maybe the person who created the idea of Bigfoot like knew it was fucking bullshit. It was like, this is a way to like start making fucking money.
It could be. It totally. Yeah. There, I heard an interview with somebody who does. I think he works for Small Town Monsters. They do like documentaries on different lore type things. And the guy was like, I don't know if I'd ever admit if I did see one that I didn't catch on camera. Because he's like, this is what I do for a living. And he's like, I don't think I could say that I've seen one if I don't have any sort of documentation of it, because basically all I'm doing is fueling the fire and making myself less reputable because I'm a believer and not a researcher. So it was just like, ooh, it's like, never thought about it.
That's definitely an interesting take. Yeah, like I wonder if there's like a secret, like cryptid, like Illuminati that is like basically like someone just said they actually have they found Bigfoot, like go fucking kill that guy before he like fucking shows his pictures.
Dude, if you watch and listen to enough shit, that is totally a thought process.
Really?
Oh my God. Yes.
Like Bigfoot Illuminati is like a real thing.
Like, so, okay. Not that anybody's fucking gonna watch it anyway. So they were in Oregon or Washington State, one of the two. Anyway, but they heard this story from a park ranger that he went and found things where they thought the Bigfoot was sleeping. And he was a part of a survey crew for a logging company, I believe. And in the next couple days, the government showed up, bought the land, and kicked them off of it. Wow. And basically like kind of froze them out so they couldn't go through and destroy the habitat. And so they ended up in California at a place where the government just bought a huge swath of land, and they kind of explored on the periphery of it. Like, so that whole thought process that exists, and it's even fucking scarier.
So maybe Bill Gates is part of the conspiracy to keep Bigfoot hidden, because maybe he has stock in Bigfoot media. Because isn't he like buying up a bunch of land all over the country? Maybe that's why he's buying up Bigfoot land.
Maybe
to keep people from finding him.
That's that. I'm just telling you. You brought it up.
No, I know.
I live in some bizarro world. I know. Gee, I listen to the dumbest shit possible, but at least I'm entertained.
If someone actually did find one of these things, what would your reaction be? Would you be happy that something gets found? Would you be bummed? Like, where do you side on the discovery of an actual Bigfoot? Are you?
Oh my God. I would probably, I don't think it would change anything. I mean, they fucking find new species of fucking animals all the time. It's how does that change my day? It doesn't.
Yeah.
I still have to pay fucking bills.
Yeah.
You know?
Would you still be interested in watching stuff about Bigfoot if he was found?
Yeah.
Would you be like, oh, the chase is over? I don't
know. Because the giant squid shit, that stuff was awesome. And just because I found a clip, then all of a sudden, you're right. It's like cash cow's gone. Like, we can't do research because we already know it exists. So it's like, fuck it. Yeah. Let's go on to something dumber.
Yeah. Or does it just increase the spending on it though? Because then if someone actually finds gets credible photos of something, then does that actually make it even more of a hunt to then actually capture one and that kind of thing?
I don't know. I would say that it actually, if it legitimizes it, then it's easier to get money and funding.
Yeah.
Because then if you can prove it, then I guess they can get money to actually kind of investigate and figure out. I don't know. We should look up giant squids and see what they're doing.
Well, if you can prove, if someone actually proves that there is a Bigfoot, do you think there should be should they try to capture one, or do you think they should be left alone?
I would leave them alone.
Yeah.
I think the enjoyment's going to be there. It's like fucking wrestling.
Gonna happen. That's not going to happen thoe.
Oh, I think so. Somebody's going to fucking kill them.
They will definitely capture one.
Oh, I think somebody's going to. I am. Oh my God. I believe if it's happened, they've already killed them. Somebody, there's this one dude on this fucking, he still is a part. This guy, I think, has 500 episodes. And this guy was early on in the run, but he's still part of his bumper coming in because he talks about blowing Bigfoot's head off. And it's just so fucking funny. But the guy was I couldn't get it into my head that he was lying to me. It was I kind of believed this guy because he wasn't how do you want to say it? He was not believable. He had it was his intonation. It was his way he told the story. And I mean, at the point it's a story, but it was the way he told it. And he didn't sound like this is what he was doing for fun. He was out hunting and all of a sudden it showed up and fucking scared the shit out of him and he fucking shot it.
Damn.
So it's
just crazy.
It's fucking crazy. I don't know. I think they'll kill him.
But yeah, and I mean, maybe. And like I said, I don't know shit about Bigfoot, but maybe there's a thought that, what if they're something about how they live or what they do? Maybe they carry diseases that can destroy farm.
That would be fucking crazy.
So that's maybe there is some secret thing that they're to kill them off because of spreading disease.
It will, or it doesn't work vice versa. I mean, the same as us. You can't get too close to them because whatever we have, they get the COVIDs and kill right over.
Oh yeah,
spontaneously combust.
Well, that's a good topic. Do you believe that that's real?
Oh my God. Oh,
We went down a fucking we went from talking about uniform choice to like fucking spontaneous combustion.
that, you know what? This is like my wheelhouse, but I never question whether or not I believe this stuff. I just like listening to it and hearing it. And I just, like I said, entertain me, entertain me, entertain me. I don't fucking know if I do. Like to put,
I don't know enough about it to say one way or the
well,
other, but
it's super fucking rare. It's not like it happens every day. It's like, every couple years, maybe one person in the world fucking blows up. Like it's not like
yeah, yeah.
it's not. It doesn't happen that often. And I mean, there's different ones. And oh my God, I'm such a fucking loser. There's like, I mean, there's people like I've seen like medical examiners and stuff. Like I think they even covered it on like Morbid or something like that podcast. But it's like they I think I don't know. Now you made me think about it. I think
think about it. You don't have to answer right
anything
now.
is fucking possible.
Yeah, I mean, we've sort of said that before. I kind of feel like I don't rule anything out, but it's like you got to. I feel like if that was something that was like a real thing, it would be happening more than just one person.
That is a really good answer.
A year, like that's just a phenomenon that would. I feel like there would at least be like 50 people exploding a year.
Yeah, and I don't think that. I don't even know if there's that many recorded cases. Yeah. I could be wrong, but I don't think there are.
I mean, I've seen some of the pictures where
and they're fucked up.
There's like a chair and you can still see like black soot of where like legs were or whatever.
Yes.
I'm just laughing. I was just like, I don't know, man. Like maybe I don't, like I said, anything's possible, but it seems ridiculous.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
So yeah, we definitely went down the rabbit hole. Oh my Lord.
Yeah, that's fine.
So just to add to this fucking moronic offshoot. So the big push right now is CERN. Like everybody's fucking worried about CERN over in the collider. Like they're afraid they're opening up dimensional doors. And that's where all the bad weather's come from, is because of CERN.
Oh, I hadn't heard that.
So fucking, I'm like, oh my God. I was like, I've never heard that, but I mean, it's different, and somebody should sit and map it out and see if it's true or they're just talking out their ass.
Yeah. I mean, I follow that stuff a little bit, but not enough to speak on it in any kind of intelligent manner. But I think all that stuff's cool, but yeah, I'm just kind of like, science is rad and it's cool to like watch them try to figure shit out. But also simultaneously, it's like, yeah, are you like, what if there's like a crack in the walls and like, did we just like vaporize the entire planet with that thing or something?
So
I create a black hole that just swallows everything.
My bigger fear is whatever it is, we're going to weaponize it before we do anything else.
Oh yeah.
Like totally. It is like whatever we find. And that goes, I mean, everything we do, you try to weaponize it.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, it's like nuclear weapons are fucking like BB guns if they fucking figure that thing out.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, oh, you have your 500 nuclear warheads. Oh, cool. Come at me, bro.
I've got a fucking particle collider, bitch.
Yeah,
bring it.
We just fucking hit a button and we fucking disintegrate your fucking entire existence.
Oh my Lord. How awesome is that?
I don't know, man. I think I'm gonna go look at some guitars.
Oh, I know what I'm doing tonight when I go to bed. I'll be fucking looking at guitars. I'll be eyeing up the Kramer.
Well, here's one last thing. Let's like bring it back full circle to the guitar conversation. And maybe I shouldn't bring this up because maybe this could evolve into like something longer, but to talk about, but is like your like guitar color choice. do you have like a guitar color preference or like a finish preference? Is that something that's ever like bothered you or like
Yes.
you?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay. I wasn't sure if you just like got what you got or if you actually like,
No, I couldn't do that. It's like fucking buying a car.
yeah.
Was like,
Okay.
that's a pretty orange, but that's not for me, bro. Like,
Yeah.
it's
I
like
mean,
it's.
do you have a favorite color like just
I'm
in
still a
general?
black. Like
So
the Kramer's cool in red, but that's as far as I would think I'd go. But I can tell you, I don't know if I'm stoked on the matte. As you've seen, it builds up weird. It gets a little funky looking.
yeah. But other than black, you don't have like an actual color that you like?
Nah. Nah,
No?
I do. I don't know. Like I said, is they make fun of us at work, or Duke comes in and makes fun of us because we all wear black. It's like,
Yeah. So like if you basically if you're guitar shopping, like black's gonna be what you're gonna mostly look at.
I could do that or white. Like
Yeah.
now, I could do that or white, or it'd have to be something. I guess our bass isn't, but Blythe was really into the colors of the bass, so that's why we got that. And at that time, it was really fucking hard to find a bass. Like it was like ridiculous, like in my price range.
Yeah, yeah. Well, do you how about like natural finishes? Are you into like more just like wood grain or like tobacco burst looking kind of stuff, like Les
Ooh.
Pauly, or is that even that's not good?
I'd probably want I'd probably want a black. It's like, maybe
Yeah.
I could do the clear black stain. That might be cool. I don't know. It's weird. Yeah. It's
But like brown, like a brownish finish you're not
I
into.
don't know. Like I love the Hondo, but I love the Hondo because I traded it for a little bit of nothing and it sounds like mud. Like but if it was in black, it'd be even more badass.
Yeah. Yeah, I like
Are you big bright colors?
no. Like I think it's cool to have like I always thought it would be cool to have like some weird like 80s metal looking colorway on a guitar. Like if you had, I don't know, like some sick like BC Richard Jackson that's like bright dayglow orange leopard print or something, that's kind of cool just to have it to fuck with. But I think I like black guitars are cool, white guitars are cool. I like blue is my favorite color, so I do like blue finishes, and I do like a lot of like wood grain stuff. Like that's why I love my newest guitar so much, my hollow body, because it looks like a piece of furniture. Like it looks like
Right.
a piece of mid-century furniture, and that's what I like really like about it.
No, that's really cool. I think Jackson just did like a re-release of some guitars and they have like it's either funky colored pickups or something in it. Like they're
I've
not
seen
totally
those.
crazy, but they're
Yep.
still kind of sexy. I'm like, if I like that, I would buy it. But I know that I don't like the neck, and it's not anything that's going to change.
Yeah, those necks are I had one Jackson. I don't know. Do you remember that Jackson I had? It was like kind of like it was a like a lower end version of a soloist, basically. I forget what the name of it was, but it was like a bolt on neck. It was only like maybe like a $400 or $500 Jackson. But that guitar was cool. But yeah, I don't know, man. I just the necks are weird on those things. I
It's
just
just
don't
it's so
like them.
thin. Like that's why it was always weird. It was like playing Gabe's. Like I didn't like doing it. Like it was just it didn't feel right.
Yeah. It's hard to get like I always found I mean, I guess they're made like that for playing leads, so it's like easier to play leads, but I always found them to be harder to press down because the neck was too thin. You can't like I'm more of a thumb over the top
Yes,
player,
yes,
so
absolutely.
it's hard to get that grip point if you're on the thinner neck.
Yeah, yeah, it moves your hand. Yeah, I don't like it. Don't like it, sir.
Yeah. All right. Well, yeah, I was just curious about the color because I've been that that super shredder thing. I was looking at that Schecter. They have like so many crazy colors of that
Oh,
thing.
I
I was like,
bet. And I'm gonna have to look it up tonight.
yeah, they're cool. But the thing I like, well, that's another thing too that I like these some of these like other guitar brands are doing is they have sort of like their like standard headstocks that they put on everything, then every once in a while they'll come out with a model where they change the headstock a little bit and it's maybe not as obnoxious, not as like pointy or something. And I kind of like that when they have like an alternate headstock.
So that's funny you break. A, why do they do the upturned headstock? Don't understand that.
Yeah.
B, I can't stand the fucking Kramers that don't have the pointy nose on them. When they look like they're fucking dildos, I don't like it.
I think that's the way mine is actually.
You got a dildo.
Yeah, I think it's more like I call it the hockey stick, I think is what it is. Yeah. But yeah, I have the rounded Kramer. But yeah, I don't know about the upturned headstock. I've always wondered that myself. I think it's just like a looks thing. I don't think it has any function other than just it looks cool.
Yeah, because is it easier to grab up under? I don't think so. Than to sit up on top. You know what I mean? Like the placement doesn't seem like it'd be any better.
I think it's just a cool guy thing. It just looks neat.
Exactly.
Because typically every guitar I've ever seen that has an upturned headstock has a locking tremolo. So
you don't have to do it.
You don't have to tune other than when you first put the strings on. So it's not like it's a tuning advantage or anything.
The worst always was when you locked it down too early and then all of a sudden something moved.
Yeah.
And then you had to unfucking bolt everything and retune. Ugh.
There's a guy on YouTube I watch sometimes. He's a recording guy and he'll actually he does unpaid reviews. So he'll actually buy a guitar with his own money and do like a real review of it, not just like an affiliate review or whatever. So he'll give his honest opinion on stuff. And it's funny because you're talking about the Floyd Rose, like locking it down, stays in tune. He like hardly, I don't think he has any Floyd Rose guitars in his studio because he always talks about how much of a bitch they are to keep in tune.
Oh, so really?
He's actually the exact opposite.
I mean, what is he recording? Is he recording everybody that shows up? Because I was talking to like the one kid outside one day before Gavin went to practice, and I was telling him about my obsession with this fucking guitar. He's like, because they drop tune in the middle of the set. I'm like, why would I fucking like that? It doesn't make sense. I was like, so yeah, you can never buy a fucking Floyd Rose because if you're changing tune in the middle of the set, what's it fucking matter?
Yeah. Well, yeah. Well, Kramer had those. When I bought my Kramer, it actually came with one of those like Eddie Van Halen drop tuners. Do you remember those things?
No.
For the Floyd Rose. So there's like this little like metal rod that was connected to the low E string.
Right.
And you would basically like pull this rod backwards and would actually drop your E string down to a D so you could like drop tune on the fly.
That is fucking crazy.
But I removed it. I still actually have the pieces, the components to it, but I never used it because I didn't like it. But it's a cool little invention. It was actually pretty reliable. Like it would actually work and stay in tune. But yeah, I'm pretty sure that like Eddie Van Halen created that or had something to do with it. Well, you want to wrap things up?
Fuck yeah, I gotta piss. So here, before we go, I got this idea.
Yeah.
I want to do a fucking, you're probably going to have to help, is I want to do a ring. I guess it could be the Hagerstown ring of like, and start trickling out the bands and like have almost like a family tree. And start like,
oh my God,
this band goes to this band, goes to this band, goes to this band, goes to this band.
I've thought about trying to do something like that over the years, and I got like a few lines into it and was like, fuck this.
Oh, dude. I've woke up in the morning, like trying to work it out in my head. Like I'd already started it and I like woke up and it was in my head, like rolling already. I'm like, oh no.
Yeah. Well, what would maybe be interesting would be to like, we each do one, but don't converse with each other to like see how accurate our each one's
oh my God, well, yours is going to be better than mine, but I'll do it.
I don't know, maybe because I mean mine's going to be very limited to sort of like the inner circle because it's gonna I feel like maybe you're gonna be better at the outer rims of it than what I am.
Oh yeah, I heard that about you.
I knew that I was setting myself up for that. On that note,
All right, motherfuckers.
all
Adios.
right,
This
later.
podcast was brought to you by Potty Mouth Records. Contact us at pottymouthrecords@gmail.com and find us on the web at pottymouthrecords.rocks. That's .rocks. Top that, bitch!